Yai dai 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 yai dai dai yai dai yai dai yai dai dai Yedid nefesh Avarachaman Avarachaman Beshok avdach Eretzonach Yarutz avdach Kemo aya Yishtachave Muhadarach Yedid nefesh Avarachaman Avarachaman Beshok avdach Eretzonach Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for that. That was beautiful. That was nice. It's nice to see everybody. That was kind of the motivation behind this, behind not just having it on live stream, but also to have a Zoom link, was so that you guys could see each other. It's been a while since we were able to do that, and it's nice to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, and for being a part of our Friday night Shabbat service. I'm excited for this. This is great. I'm all about casual, and for too long we thought that the relationship we have with God is dictated by the clothing we wear or anything. This is a big thing for me. If you were in shul last Shabbat, you know that I'm not a fan of the whole wear a suit, go to shul. So the fact that you guys are all here in whatever you wear, and it is beautiful. I think it lends to having God in our everyday lives and not having it separate between our life everywhere else and our religious life. So Shabbat in the home is a great thing to have, and I want to welcome you, and sit back, relax, and enjoy the beautiful sounds of Carl Cedar.
Thanks, Rabbi. And feel free to sing along, because I'm not worried about it, because you're muted. But you can hear you, can't you? Lechu niranina, lechu niranina, lechu niranina, ladonai. Lechu niranina, lechu niranina, lechu niranina, ladonai. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu. Nikav mafanam bitoda. Naria, naria, litzur yishenu. Bizmirot nurialo. Lechu niranina, lechu niranina, lechu niranina, ladonai. Lechu niranina, lechu niranina, lechu niranina, ladonai. Thank you, Phyllis, for playing percussion on that orange or whatever it is you've got in your hand. On page 14 is our Chatimah. Repeat after me. Arba'im Shana.
Arba'im Shana.
Akut Bidor.
Akut Bidor.
Va'omar.
Va'omar.
Am to'e levavhem.
Am to'e levavhem.
V'hem lo yadu.
Ve'hem lo yadu.
Dirachai.
Dirachai.
And then together we sing, Asher nishbati v'yapi. Im yevo'un el menuchati. Our next song on page 13, singing a new song. Shiru ladonai shir chadash, Shiru ladonai kol haaretz, Shiru ladonai baruch shemo basru miyom liyom yeshuato, Sapru vagoyim kevodo bechol ha'amim niflotav ki gadol Adonai o me'olam me'olam norahu al kol Elohim ki kol Elohei hamim elilin Adonai Shamayim Asa Hod ve'adar Vefanav Hod ve'tiferet Be'mikdasho Havu l'Adonai Mishpachot Amim Havu l'Adonai Kavod va'od Havu l'Adonai Kevod Shemo Se'u mincha uvo'u lechatzrotav. Chatima is on the next page. Repeat after me. Ready, Rabbi? Yismechu hashamayim.
Yismechu hashamayim.
V'tagel haaretz.
V'tagel haaretz.
Yiram hayam.
Yiram hayam.
Umelot. Aloz sadai.
Ya'aloz sadai.
V'chol asher bo.
V'chol asher bo.
Az yiranenu.
Az yiranenu.
Kol atzei ya'ar.
Kol atzei ya'ar.
Lifnei Adonai kiva.
Lifnei Adonai kiva.
Kiva lishpot haaretz.
Kiva lishpot haaretz.
Together, yishpot tevel betzedek ve'amim be'emunato.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We are about to come to Or Zarua, to the light that is brilliant and shining. Carl, I don't have the Cedar in front of me. Can you read the Or Zarua in English for me? Do you mind?
In English, light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright.
Right.
Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God you pronounce the divine holy name.
Okay. So, Nah. I got to be honest. I don't think the world shines the bright light just on the righteous. Pretty sure the sun, shines on the wicked and righteous alike. But what I do believe is that the righteous are able to see the sun shining even through the clouds, right? We may not always be in the best mood. We may not always be the happiest people in the world. We may go through things in our lives. But I grew up in a city that was very cloudy, multiple months a year. I grew up, if you know Game of Thrones, basically I grew up in Winterfell, but it was gloomy to me. I always hated it until somebody told me, the sun's still there. It's just behind the clouds. And that really changed things for me. Of course, I had already moved to Southern California, so that helped. But the clouds we may not be able to always see the sun, but it's always there. And we're actually not even a solar people. What are we? We go by the what, Carl? Let's put you on the spot.
Lunar calendar?
Right. And what happens to a moon? It waxes and wanes. And so does our love for and appreciation of God sometimes, and our ability to see God. it waxes and wanes, but it always comes back. And so as we sing Or Zarua, you're here, you're righteous. I hope the sun is shining on you this Shabbat.
Ah. Or Zarua Sadi Ulishre Lev Simcha Simchot Tzadikim B'Adonai V'hodu L'zecher Kodsho Yai Dai Dai Yai Dai 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 Yai Dai 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 Yai Dai Dai Yai Dai 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 Yai Dai Dai Yai Dai 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 Yai Dai Yai. Gotta do it again. Or Zarua La Tzadik Ulishre Lev Simcha Simchot Tzadikim B'Adonai V'hodu L'zecher Kodsho Yai Dai Dai Yai Dai Dai Yai Dai Dai Yai Dai Dai Yai Dai Dai
Carl, I know on the set list it says we're going right into the next thing, but I have to say, I don't know who it is, but Rich, it's the Rich Levitt screen and Christine. I got to be honest, I love being in your kitchen.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. I do. Don't be embarrassed. It's beautiful to see you guys preparing Shabbat, to prepare Shabbat dinner. It's so wonderful. And this is what I'm talking about, being in our homes. We come sometimes to a synagogue that just feels, and it's a beautiful synagogue. I'm not insulting the architecture of CBI, but that's kind of like a sterile, neutral ground. And to be in each other's homes, it just adds warmth to Shabbat. Stephen, I saw you there. Don't pretend like you weren't there. It adds this warmth to Shabbat that is just so beautiful. And so I thank you. And if there's leftovers, please let me know.
Yeah, Christine, Christine, we're walking distance from there. And now I know what you're making.
All right.
Let's sing to Adonai a new song, for Adonai has worked wonders. Yai-dai, 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 שירו לאדוני שיר חדש כי נפלאות עשה הושיע לו ימינו זרוע קודשו יאי די די יאי די די yai dai yai dai dai yai dai yai dai dai yai dai yai dai dai. Good to see you, Luis. Yai dai dai dai. Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz. ישפוט תבל בצדק ועמים משרים. Yeah, we're going through it. Oh, yes. If you're following along in your Lev Shalom, maybe. I'm on page 20.
Also San Francisco,
Moses and Aaron among God priests, and Shmuel among those who called upon the divine name, Moshe v'Aaron b'Kohanav. ושמואל בקורא שמו, קוראים אל אדוני, והוא יענה. בעמוד ענן ידבר עליהם, שמרו עדותיו וכל נתן עמו. אדוני אלוהינו אתה עניתם, אל נושא הייתה להם ונוקם על עלילותם. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו. כי sing it Agi, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. That being our Thursday psalm, we head to our Friday psalm. We're getting closer to our Shabbat psalm. מזמור לדוד, הבו לאדוני, בני אלים הבו לאדוני, כבוד ועוז הבו לאדוני, כבוד שמו השתחוו לאדוני, בהדרת קודש קול אדוני על המים, הכבוד הרים אדוני על מים רבים. קול אדוני בכוח, קול אדוני בהדר, קול אדוני שובר ארזים, וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון, ויקידם כמו עגל לבנון וסריון, כמו בן רמים, כמו בן רמים. קול אדוני חוצת לבודש, קול אדוני יחיל מדבר, יחיל אדוני מדבר קדש, קול אדוני יכול אל איילות, ויחשוף ירודו, והיכלו כולו אומר כבוד, כולו אומר כבוד. אדוני למבול ישב, וישב אדוני מלך לעולם, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יבורך עמו בשלום.
Smells like Shabbos, feels like Shabbos. It's about to be Shabbos. It's great. Sounds like Shabbos.
Yeah.
It's going to taste like Shabbos after this, I promise. I know for Christine's family it will as well. It is through that door that we're about to walk. Lecha dodi. You know, you may see me going like this and moving and all this stuff, and it's not only because of ADHD, though that is definitely part of it. But even when I'm standing up, if you come to services or you watch them on live stream, you'll notice that I'm always doing this, or I'm moving, or I'm shuckling. It's called shuckling. In Yiddish, we used to call it shuckling, and it basically means doing this, you know, kind of going back and forth, and it's movement. And there's actually a reason for it. It's not just because we're Jews and have anxiety and excess energy. It's because we're told to embrace and praise God with all of ourselves, with our whole bodies. I was taught at a young age that we can't. Karen, I'm glad to see that you arrived safely. Great. It's our whole bodies get into the praise of God. Our whole mouth, you can't chew gum or anything because our whole mouth, it says literally, you've heard the words, our mouth is filled with praise, meaning there's nothing else there. So we can't chew gum while we do it, but we use our whole body as well. And that's part of what we do. And so when we do the Lecha Dodi, for the last stanza for Bo'i V'Shalom, as we welcome the Shabbat bride, the Shabbat queen, you're going to see me stand up. I'm going to stand up. If you'd like to stand wherever you are, please feel free to do so. And you'll see when I do it. And then Carl, let's hit it.
Lecha Dodi Likrat Gala Penei Shabbat Nikabila Shamov Zachor Bediburecha Hishmianu El HaMiyuchad Adonai Echad Ushemo Echad L'Shem U'Tiferet V'Liti Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabila Likrat Shabbat Lechu V'Necha Ki Mikor Habiracha Merosh Mikedem Nesucha Sof Maaseh B'Machshava Terila Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabila Mikdash Melech Ir Melucha Kumi Tzei Metoch Hafecha Rav Lach Shevet Yemek Habacha V'hu Yachamor Alayich Chemla Licha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabila. I invite you to turn to page 25. We change it up a little bit. Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala Penei Shabbat Nikabila V'hayu lim shisa Shosai v'rachaku Kol mivolaich yasis olaich Elohaich timsos chatan Al kala lecha dodi Likrat kala Penei Shabbat Nikabla Yomin usmo Tifrot et Adonai תעריצי על ידיש בין פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה לך דודי לקראת קלה בני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצוהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת קלה פני שבת נקבלה. It's nice. Well, having welcomed the Shabbos bride, it's time to sing a psalm for Shabbat. מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך היום ולזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך היום ולזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות. צדיק אתה מה יפרח גרז בלבנון יזכה שתולים בבית אדוני בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינובון בשיבה דשנים ורעננים יהיו להגיד כי ישר אדוני צורי ולא עוולתה בו. עדותיך נאמנו מאוד לביתך נב הקודש אדוני לאורך That's Kabbalat Shabbat.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
So you all don't have the run sheet. I have it in front of me. That's why I keep looking over this way. It's not because of the squirrel. But it says, now it's time for the mini drush. Not the drush, the mini drush. So
I'm sorry. My bad.
Mute him. Khalid, mute him. No.
You go, guy. Make it the maxi drush.
No, no, no. The reason I'm saying this is because it reminds me of the best piece of advice I ever got from my homiletics teachers. And my homiletics is the art of writing a sermon. Just so you know, my teachers for sermon writing instead of homiletics, the fancy way of saying it, were two rabbis named Rabbi Ed Feinstein and Rabbi David Wolpe, who know a thing or two about giving sermons.
Amen.
So the best piece of advice I ever got, though, was have a really strong opening. You have to have a really strong opening. You also have to close it really well. You have to have a great opening and great closing and put them close together. So that's the mini drash part of this. But I want to talk just for a moment about this parsha. So it's Lech Lecha. And there's the Debbie Friedman song that I'm not going to sing, Lechi Lach, to a land that go for yourself to a land that yes, Karen knows it. By the way, Karen, you didn't hear before, but I'm glad you got home safely and we didn't crash your car with the service. By the way, at one point, I don't know if anybody else knows this, but Karen's phone kind of fell and I felt like Billy Batts from Goodfellas. I don't know if you know, that's a very random reference, but Billy Batts was the guy in the trunk. But anyway,
yeah.
So back to Lech Lecha, go for yourself. It says Lecha, right? And the word, the lamed in front, the le, we think of as to, right? Go to, ani holech le, I am going to. But really, in biblical Hebrew, the le means for. And Phyllis is nodding. Phyllis, you didn't know this, but she's a biblical grammarian. It means for yourself, for your own sake. Don't go for my sake. Go for yours. Go from the land, from your father's house, from your homeland to a land that I will show you. And I thought about parenting. I thought about what it means to parent and the hope that our children, depending on who you are, either you never want your children to leave and you want to, kind of somehow put the umbilical cord back on them, or you can't wait for the day that they're out of the house. For me personally, I hope it's lecha or lach. I hope you go for yourself for my children. That's a blessing I would give to them, is that I hope my hope is that I raise my children well enough to be able to leave my house for themselves, meaning for their own blessing. It says, and you shall be a blessing. I hope that my children know first what a blessing they've been in my house to me, even though I don't always show it, even though sometimes getting them out of the house to school in the morning, it's not the most, awe-inspiring moment of peace and tranquility. I hope they know what a blessing they've been in this house, and that when they're ready to go, that the journeys that they find themselves on, the journeys through education and relationships and wherever they go, that it is a blessing for them. And that, the idea that you shall be a blessing. We're not sure, it's ambiguous in the verse, right? God says, go to these places, to a land that I'll show you, and you shall be a blessing. It's not clear if that's descriptive or proscriptive, meaning you're going to be a blessing wherever you go, or it's instructive, it's prescriptive, saying be a blessing. And I hope it's both. I hope that I've taught my children well enough that it's a blessing. I hope that all of us sitting around here, that if you have children, that we've taught them how to be a blessing to other people, how to outgrow the me part of our society. Judaism has always been a response to the status quo. And right now the status quo is a selfie, right? It's not a Yui. It's a selfie. And so I hope that we can teach our children to be a blessing for those around them. Abraham is the first Jew because Abraham recognized something that we couldn't see with our eyes. We think we have all the knowledge sometimes. We think that what we can observe and what we can quantify is all there is sometimes, and it's not. There's a an idea that we have to conquer the physical world, that we have to make X amount of money, right? And you know that, Carl, do you know the joke about the first Jewish president? Do you know this joke?
Mm.
So the first Jewish president is being inaugurated, and his mother is sitting there. And by the way, when I was young, it was the mother was wearing fur, which tells you a little bit about how I was raised. The mother was wearing fur. She was like wearing mink. She's sitting there in her mink coat, and she's going, "Oh my God," right? She's talking like this. And she goes, she's so proud. She's sitting upright with her chest puffed out. And she turns to the person next to her and she says, "You see that man taking the oath of office? His brother's a doctor." Right? So I don't know where I was going with that. I totally lost that.
Well
anyway,
done.
my point is, we raise our kids to be overachievers in that. But we also need to raise our kids that that's not all there is. Because once we attain what we want for our careers, if we ever are blessed enough to do that, there's still more out there, right? Ed Feinstein, again, says there are people that he knew that were so incredibly successful by the time they were 45 that they died by the time they were 55 and they buried them at 95, right? What is there outside of the financial, economic, career success? It's something we can't see and measure. And Avraham knew that. Avraham knew that there was more out there for us. And it's my hope that when you go for yourself, lecha, that when you go, wherever you go, whether it's leaving your house or in your house, you know, when you lie down and when you go out, right? The Shema, when you lie down and when you get up and when you go out, that it's a blessing, that you are a blessing to those around you, and that you are blessed to have the success you'd like. I want to transition now. Speaking of blessings, we're going to say Mourner's Kaddish in just 1 second, but I asked Helene, and Helene put it in the chat, the names of the people for whom we're saying Kaddish, the yahrzeit. So I'm going to read them out. In our community this week, we're commemorating these yahrzeits: Jack Doctorow, Joseph Malloy, Celia Berger, Mildred Manasseh, David Garfield, Nancy Wolfe, Frida Marks, Samuel Garber, Richard Klein, Abraham Pariser, Sarah Bialy, Hetty Goldstein, Marshall Ehrenkrantz, Samuel Magrafeta Fete, Arthur Roth, Rachel Metzer, Rochelle Solomon, Isaac Testa, Rita Kaufman, and Rosalind Chase. I hope their memories are blessings for all of you and for those who are left here. If you'd like, you can join me in the Mourner's Kaddish. I'm going to stand. I invite you to if you'd like to as well. And you know what? I want everybody to unmute themselves, if you will. Just if you're not saying Kaddish, that's fine. But if you want to just answer Amen to those who are saying Kaddish, to give them that support and show them that they're not alone, that would be wonderful. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbi.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach Yerusei ve'amlich machusei v'chayechon uvyomechon v'chaye dechol beis Yisrael v'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach ve'olam ulmei olmaya Yisbarach. Yisbarach v'yishtabach v'yisva'ar v'yisramam v'yisnasei v'yisadar v'yis'aleh v'yishalal shemei dekudisha B'richu. Le'ela min kol birchasa v'shirasa tushbechasa v'nechemasa da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen.
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 For this last song, whoa, it just got loud. For this last song, if you haven't been on camera, we'd love to see your faces. So I'm not going to call you out, but you know who you are, Levitt and Sharona. You're right. We can see the list. So for this last song, if you'd like to unmute yourself so we can see and be seen, that would be wonderful. And I just want to wish you all an absolute Shabbat Shalom. May it be a happy, healthy, peaceful Shabbat for us, all our friends, and our loved ones. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Rabbi, I'm going to change it up a little. I'm going to do something different that's not on the what do you call it? The cheat sheet? No, you call it the.
I call it a set list, but that's fine.
I could go set
Or,
list.
or a
right.
run sheet. A run sheet.
A run sheet. All right, I like the set list. If you've got Lev Shalem, I'm on page 211. And I'm going to try something that I haven't tried in public before. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Liet Nasa, V'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech, Shemo Nikra. ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו לכך ברבי בלי רצית בלי שתח לי ולא העוז והמזרע והוא אלי וחגו לי וצור חבלי בעת צרה והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא בידו אבקי רוחי בעת אישה והירא ואם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא הירא בידו אבקי רוחי בעת אישה והירא ואם רוחי גביעתי, אדוני לי ולא יירא, אדון עולם. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Unmute yourself and say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos. Good to see you all. Oh, okay. I'm just getting ready to do that. I'm just learning it. I'll get there.
I have a whole story about that one. We'll do another time for
I'll pick it up.
another mini draft.
Okay.
All right. Shabbat Shalom,
Right.
everyone. Good
Shabbat
job.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank
Shabbat
you.
Shalom.
Okay.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.